HSF Digital Academy Radio. What's up, students? Love you guys. I hope everything's going okay. More course-specific stuff coming soon, but today I have a little treat. This is a special one. I was thinking, you see other people doing it on the internet. I thought it'd be cool to do some reaction videos, but then I was thinking, like, I don't want to put my time into doing these reaction videos of videos and then have them go up on YouTube and immediately get pulled. So is there a way around that? And is there a way around that that actually is fair to the content creators? And so then I just had the thought of, well, what if I just email them directly? What if I kind of tell them my idea? And I assumed everyone would say no, and I didn't hear back from most of them yet. I only sent the email yesterday, but I did hear back from one group. And you may recognize this group from videos I've shown in class. Alright, I'm hardcore excited to do this. Without further ado, I should have pre-practiced this. HSF students, please welcome for the first time to the HSF Digital Academy Radio YouTube stream video Dropbox link, whatever we're calling it, ASAP Science. So again, I can't explain how excited I am to have these guys on. I wrote them an email asking for permission, and the guy basically just wrote back saying, go for it, with a bunch of explanations and a bunch of happy faces. So, hey man, don't gotta tell me twice. Let's do this.
What you're about to see is the first ever living robot that was just created by researchers in the US. This is it, the Xenobot. Under 1 millimeter in size, it's unlike most robots in that it's not made of any plastic or metal, but entirely of organic cellular material. It can move forward, turn around, sometimes spin in circles, and if you flip it on its back, it will flip itself back over. It's a human-made robot, but it's alive. Now, you might be asking, what exactly is a living robot? And that would be a perfectly reasonable question, especially given the fact that it's being deemed a brand new life form that has never
just a side note, I haven't seen this video, just so you know.
Never existed before. But before we can actually understand what it does and what that might mean for the future, we have to understand what it actually is. Researchers essentially wanted to figure out if they could take real live cells and make them behave in a way that the researchers wanted them to, much like a robot made of other materials would do.
They could learn.
So they took two different types of frog cells, both skin and heart cells. Heart cells naturally contract while skin cells don't. So the idea was, if we can put skin cells and heart cells together in a specific way, maybe we can come out with a functional structure that can move. And that's exactly what the researchers tried to do. If you take a look at this video of one of their successful creations, you can see that the blue cells are non-contracting skin cells, while the green and red ones are contracting heart cells. So this particular combination of cells will give you the motion you're seeing in both the animation and the actual result below. But it would have taken a long time to get here. So using computer scientists and evolutionary algorithms, a supercomputer would have made millions of iterations of these combinations of skin and muscle cells to figure out which combinations make the best movements. And evolutionary algorithms would have worked much like natural selection to improve upon existing models to figure out what works better.
Evolutionary algorithms? That's a new word for me. I know what both those words mean, and it makes sense. I don't think I've ever heard someone say that. I guess that's how a computer model would assume it would evolve, based on principles of natural selection, I'm assuming.
Ultimately ending in what would be deemed the most fit versions. And so the researchers then use these computer-made designs to make the real thing. And by that, it means taking one cell at a time and sticking it to the next one and then to the next one.
No.
It's an extremely laborious process. Luckily, cells have the natural tendency to want to stick together, but it still meant a human technician going through a really intense process one bit at a time. So what exactly makes them robots? Well, once the scientists understood which combinations would make a cell move in a straight line or make this one spin in circles, they could then tell the supercomputer, we actually want this type of movement or this type of action. How do we get that? The supercomputer calculates it and then gives them a design that will ultimately create that action. So if the Xenobots are designed in the exact right way, they can move in the exact way we want them to. And so we end up with cellular organisms that have been designed by humans to act in predictable manners,
a living
like robots, which is what the Xenobots are, really. But the interesting, or kind of freaky part, is related to something called emergent behavior. While we might understand how a single cell works, when you put a group of them
okay, so you train it to do certain things, but then certain behaviors come from it. Emergent behavior.
Together, sometimes emergent behavior or properties come about. So the single cell itself can't do this thing, but when it's in a big group, it does. And us humans, assuming we're all humans here, are perfect examples. We have trillions of cells in our body, none of which have on their own consciousness or the ability to think, but when you bring them all together in this particular combination that is a body, consciousness emerges. What surprised the scientists about the Xenobots is that sometimes they would change their movement. They might turn around and go back from where they came from, or link up with another Xenobot and travel around, or if they were cut in half, they would put themselves back together. So truth be told, these Xenobots weren't completely predictable, but that was part of the research and the study. If we were to put combinations of cells in certain ways and get action that we were wanting, what types of other emergent behaviors could we see so we could better understand the whole system and better make Xenobots in the future? And that's what makes Xenobots so different from your traditional robot, which is made up of individual dumb parts, sorry robots, don't want to offend you, that when put together...
Yeah, it's oh man. I'm wondering if at some point he's going to actually say artificial intelligence. It seems... Man, mind-blowing. Living robots. Let that sink in for a sec. We're actually witnessing this. Good first video, wow.
Make up an intelligent whole, whereas the Xenobots are made up of individual cells that have the inherent qualities of life, and in and of themselves are smart. Cells communicate to make tissue, which make organs, which ultimately come together to make us. So what does it all even mean? Well, the long-term implications are pretty massive. I mean, you don't need to be worried about a robot uprising anytime soon, and we can't even really tell these Xenobots to do anything yet. But the more we learn about them, the more potential there is, and there's some pretty cool suggested future uses for Xenobots. Picture this, a swarm of Xenobots made using your own cells that are deployed internally in your body and sent to your brain to help remove a brain tumor. And because they're your own cells, your body won't reject them. Or picture cleaning up artery plaque in your body using Xenobots. This generation...
Because that's one of the big issues with those, with anything, right? Is not only can you get it to work, but can you get your body to not reject it as a external threat? Sorry, I don't know if the mic's picking up those kids playing. It's kids playing outside. Nice noise, right? Man, your body just thinks it's you. Crazy.
Of Xenobots was used only using skin and heart cells, but the future ones could be used using photoreceptors or other types of cells to help them navigate and understand their environments. Why not build some with
photoreceptors? They might be able to use light. They might be able to learn through light. Man, I could go off on that.
Components from blood vessels, nervous systems, or sensory cells to make a rudimentary eye. Outside of the body, picture something like the ocean, which is littered with our plastic pollution, in particular microplastics. Maybe these Xenobots are used to target and break down microplastics or collect them and clump them together so that they can be more easily removed. And the great part is, because they're biological, they naturally break down. So in this study, the Xenobots lasted between 7 to 10 days before they stopped functioning and broke down. And while these suggested uses are definitely far down the line, they show the massive potential of these Xenobots. Unlike plastic and metals, which in your body, as an example, would be detected as foreign objects and it would cause a lot of problems. So what does the future of this look like? Well, one of the biggest question marks right now is the ethical implication. Once we start creating these robots that have cognitive capabilities and can sense things, and we're selecting them based off of their abilities to think and do things, who is going to be protecting their rights? Do they become organisms that ought to have rights in the first place? If these are organisms that are actively participating in our world, and maybe some can feel pain because it's a benefit to their function, or maybe they can start to think, what does that mean? Where do we draw the line? The researchers did acknowledge this as uncharted territory, and the fact that we should be having these discussions in the early stages of technology like this so that the public can understand, so that the governments can make informed decisions, and that we can all feel positive that we're doing something good in the world with it. Personally, I found this research to be so fascinating, and it led me to be excited and also terrified at the same time. You know, the potential to address climate change with something like xenobots, or health and safety of the human body and delivering drugs. These are all amazing things, but
I haven't seen this, and I don't know if he's about to go there, but I think it's pretty easy for you guys to think about weaponization aspects, right? So yeah, it could be used to go in your body and heal something. It could also be used to go in your body and do negativity, or I wonder if he's gonna bring up micro warriors, or military application. It'll be interesting.
At what cost does it come? How do we prepare for what else these biological robots could be used for? And how do we address the concerns that they could very well be considered living organisms made of human cells, made of other animal cells,
made of human cells
that are biological? You know, we've had these conversations about artificial.
I don't even know how that fits in. A human, a living conscious organ. Maybe I won't even use the word conscious. A living organism made out of human cells. I'll need to rewatch. I'm not sure if he's talking about liver, still human heart and lung cells, but man, a whole new branch of ethics.
Intelligence and robots, and at what point
do
we
deem
them to have rights for themselves, or to have feelings and those kinds of things. This is just going to skyrocket that problem into another level, because these beings are actually made of biological cells. So fascinating, so interesting. I am really
complex.
Curious what everybody else thinks, because to me it's exciting and terrifying. I think it can be both at the same time. I don't think the robot apocalypse is anywhere near, but I do think it's something to keep in the back of our minds, just in case. Just in case one of the Xenobots are watching this video in the future, though I love you, and I promise I never questioned your good intent. I hope this video was useful, and
well, it's funny, obviously, right? If you're my students watching this, you have just watched Ex Machina, so there's your example of that's not at a micro level, but when well-planned experiments go wrong.
Interesting to you. I had a lot of people asking to go a little more in depth about Xenobots, because it's a huge discovery and breakthrough, and I thought it was worthwhile to understand a little more of the intricacies of it. Let me know if you have any other questions, but comment down below. What do you think of this technology? Are you nervous? I want to hear your opinions. I'm so curious what everyone else is thinking. Thanks again for watching. Make sure you like the video, leave a comment, and I'll message you back, and subscribe for more interesting science videos. Peace.
Cheers, brother. Now,
what you're about to see is
I think that was just to restart it. I hope you guys like that. I don't know. That's my first try. I'm gonna have to figure out how much to talk, how much not to talk. Should I just talk at the beginning and end? Is there natural pause points? Whatever, man. You guys, this isn't a polished product. This is an evolving product. This is we're freestyling a little bit, and we're doing a little bit of rolling with the punches, and being the best we can be in a challenging time. And I think exobots or whatever, man. What an interesting concept. Right? Basically the idea of creating tissue that is living, carbon-based tissue. It's live cells. It's not synthetic. But even adding questions to what does synthetic mean? What does artificial mean? What does alive mean? What does conscious mean? Man? Again, hopefully this is first many. If you guys like this, man, this is a way I could continue to create content once the course is over, in a way that I could show these videos, make a few comments, stay connected with you guys, and that's really the dream, right? That to build this into an academy. And what I mean by that is just a group of people that are, well, an academy, group of academics in the truest Platonian sense of the word. As an honor to Plato. All right, anyways, I'm getting ranty. Thank you to ASAP Science, man. Big shout out to you guys. If you guys didn't have to say yes, and you did, and that's hardcore cool. And I didn't know you guys were from Toronto. Man, that's cool. I'm wearing my TFC soccer jersey or windbreak or whatever. I always wear it, but it's extra special today. Shout out to my Toronto buddies. All right, and that's coming from Kitchener. Thank you again. Again, you guys could have just ignored that email, but you didn't, and that is cool. And to my students, love you guys, and I'm doing this for you. All right, cheers.